How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the work week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions. Well, you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. Where do beef burgers go to dance? The meatball, right? The meatball. Anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN, which ended up having another green day inside of the market. I know you guys are just as excited as I am, but I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, you can find timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support, we want to know resistance, and as far as this run that we're on, what do we want to see actually continue? And then secondly, we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. This will have an impact on the stock, and of course we want to know which institutions are loading up. And then afterwards, we're taking a look at the order flow distribution. Were there any large scale orders that we're going through today? This is very key because, like I was saying, it will have an impact on the stock and how well it performs. And then when all of that is done, we'll be jumping into the final thoughts and as well as going into some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for OCGN. So we ended up closing the day at $8.51, being up 4.80%. On the low, we tested $8.17, and then on the high, testing $9.35. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, we traded at 32.842 million shares, and as far as for the average volume over 10 trading days, it's at 17.355 million shares. So well above average there, and part of the reasons why we ended up seeing some strength inside the stock price today. Now, the chart we're using is the 1-year daily chart, so let's see what it's looking like when we match it with our indicators. You can see from the RSI down below, it's at 63.91, so of course it is in the overbought territory. And indicators on our chart, we have strength above the 200-day, we also have strength above the 21-day EMA, and we also have strength above the 100-day as well. So we ended up getting to $9.35, but of course this was an area of resistance. There was a lot of selling pressure here, and that was of no surprise because what's the most important thing is we ended up being green and being up 40 cents on the day. And as far as closing and being above $8 is definitely something that I like to see, being above that 100-day. So what I'd want to see as far as going into tomorrow, I'd love to see a retest going back into the $9 area, but for the most part, as long as we're holding up this $8 level, things are going to continue to look good. Another thing to also keep in mind as far as a temporary area of support that we want to see actually hold up is right here around the 830s. I know right now it closed at around 850, so even if it does pull back going into tomorrow, keep an eye on that 830 level, see how well it actually holds up. But like I was saying, ideally, even if it's holding up 8, that is completely fine because we are going to be having some volatile markets as this week progresses. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We're going to get information in regards to the CPI data. So there's going to be volatility. So that's why I was saying for the most part, as long as we hold up 8, we're definitely looking good if we can just weather that storm. And then also going into Friday and as well as going into next week because we are expecting to get an update sometime from WHO. So with all of that said, I would love to see OCGN make that move to $10, but do keep in mind of the fact there will be a lot of selling pressure in this particular area. Many people will be taking profits. But if we have a good amount of volume like we were seeing today and also on prior days, then there's no doubt in my mind we should be able to power right through it. So around Fintel, we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information for OCGN. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we want to take a look at the 10th to be exact. And as you can see, there's some filings here of institutions loading loading up on shares of OCGN. We see Inspired Advisors going in with 10,000 shares, Principal Financial Group, just over 72,000 shares, Dynamic Advisor Solutions just went in with over 13,000 shares, and then we have the State Board of Administration of Florida Retirement System going in with just over 26,000 shares. So that's definitely great to see from what we saw from the filings for today. Now, when we take a look at the short interest information here, scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 150,000, updated 12 minutes ago. And as far as for the short ball free rate, it is at 7.60%. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see here for August the 6th, it was at 44.28. And as you see for the 9th, it's at 40.59. So it has gone down quite a bit, but do keep in mind OCGN still continues to have short squeeze potential, because what we normally look for is around 21, and it's still almost doubled that. So that's one thing to keep on your radar, and it's part of the reasons why we see strong moves in price action inside of the stock. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we could see here on the inflow is at 63.68, and then on the outflow was at 69.04. Now on the large we had 0 for the inflow, on the medium we had 42.83, and then on the small we had 20.85. But on the outflow side, we had 0.67 on the large. On the medium, it was 44.58. And then on the small, it was 23.79. As far as for the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for August the 10th, it is at 672. And on the 9th, it was at 0 as well, which we have covered. So yes, we do see that we had an outflow day instead of an inflow day, but you also need to understand we had above average volume and there was a lot of buying pressure inside of the stock. So this is why we saw moves to the upside. So I want to make sure I'm being clear about that. But yes, we did see some large scale orders that tell us, you know what, there was some selling off, but we see the momentum is actually continuing. And I took a quick look going into the after hours. So there's strength there. So we want to make sure to see, hey, will we see more progression? I'm enjoying the steady climbs instead of the big spikes or the big moves, because again, these type of gains are more consistent over time is what we're looking for. And we do know there's also a lot of FOMO coming into this play due to the fact we're supposed to be getting a decision from who very soon. Now let's jump into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, there's definitely a lot to be excited about, but do keep in mind there's a lot of anticipation with that who decision. So if you're inside of this play, you need to be able to stomach the volatility. Also, as far as entries are concerned, yes, I'm getting these questions. Hey, I want to get it now. Is it too late? Blah, 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 blah. You are going to be taking and assuming all the risk here. We've been talking about it for quite some time on this channel, the best areas where you could have loaded up at. You could have been loading in the $6 range. You could have been loading even in the $7 range. Look to actually load right now while it is running up. It's obviously going to be a lot more risky. You're also seeing a lot of talk and you're seeing these articles pop up saying, hey, OCGN could go back to $15. Also, we have analysts saying, well, you know what, it should be at least $10. Yes, all of this information is circulating, but you need to make sure if you are going to be getting into this play, do you have a clear strategy as far whether you're trying to go short for the short term to be exact, and also for the medium, or as well as for the long term as well. Now, in regards to the latest update that I found out about Covaxin, they're talking about, hey, you can mix Covaxin alongside with Covishield. So it's great they're going to be doing that in India because, again, supply is a big time issue. Covaxin is trying to catch up to make sure they can meet the demand, but knowing that you can mix it, it can make things a hell of a lot easier. As far as this being transferred over into the US and as well as Canada, of course, this is being pendant on approval. So this is why this whole entire process that we're going through is very essential and it's very key here. And that does bring in a lot of excitement, taking that into account as well. We also see, as far as institutions are concerned, they are loading up on shares, but do keep in mind short sellers are also still heavily vested inside this play. But hey, it's beneficial because it does have short squeeze potential. And what that means is if we have a lot of buying volume coming through the stock, we could see strong moves to the upside like we were seeing today. Even though we had more outflows than inflows, we still saw some appreciation in the stock. So please continue to keep an eye on it. And like I was saying in some previous videos, keep an eye on the daily volume. This is very key, because if you see, okay, one day the volume is very high or it's above average, then you might be able to actually take advantage of a swing trade or a day trade opportunity and ride some of that momentum. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.